You graduate with a degree in international logistics. You're disciplined, precise, analytical. You speak English, Russian, and French. You love structure. You land a job at a mid-sized logistics firm in a port city that smells like diesel and salt water. Containers move like clockwork. Ships dock. Paperwork clears. Cargo flows. You're good at what you do, better than most. You understand customs codes most people ignore. You notice discrepancies. You solve routing problems others can't. At first, it's humanitarian shipments, rice to Sudan, medical equipment to Somalia, construction machinery to Syria. You feel useful, important. Then you discover something subtle. The cargo isn't the hard part. The paperwork is. If the paperwork is clean, the world moves. If the paperwork is flawed, nothing moves. That realization is the seed, because if documents control movement, then whoever controls documents controls reality. 3 years later, you're in Dubai. Hotel bar, glass walls, gold accents. A man sits beside you, tailored suit, soft voice, controlled confidence. He doesn't talk politics, he talks transportation. There's a region in Central Africa, official roads are blocked. Official aid can't get through. His client needs equipment. He doesn't need a soldier, he needs someone who understands logistics. The payout is 5 times your salary, half up front. You hesitate, but you rationalize. You aren't arming anyone. You're solving a routing problem. You tell yourself, if not you, someone else. You accept. And in that moment, the trajectory of your life shifts permanently. The shipment succeeds. Money lands in your account, more than you've ever seen. Your firm doesn't ask questions about why you suddenly quit. You go independent. You build companies in jurisdictions that ask few questions. They look real. They have websites, but they exist for flexibility. You begin managing sensitive cargo. Everything has a story. Agricultural equipment, heavy machinery, emergency infrastructure supplies. You start to see the pattern. Nobody investigates what they don't want to investigate. You buy your own aging cargo plane. Now you control the schedule. Now you control the route. Now you control the narrative. The risk increases, but so does the money. And with money comes something more dangerous, confidence. You land in places the news rarely covers, short runways carved from dirt, men waiting in the dark. You don't step far from the aircraft. You don't need to. Payment sometimes comes in cash, sometimes in gold, sometimes in assets that never touch a bank. You begin noticing something unsettling. Entire operations depend on your arrival. Without your shipments, momentum collapses. You are not just a delivery man. You are supply lines. You are sustainability. You are oxygen to conflicts you barely understand. And that power feels intoxicating. It feels strategic. You tell yourself, you don't pull triggers. You don't give orders. You simply move cargo. But deep down, you know something. Wars aren't won by ideology. They're won by logistics. And you control logistics. Contracts grow larger. You move beyond small arms, beyond minor equipment. Now it's infrastructure level shipments, heavy assets, strategic materials. Everything has documentation. Everything has a cover story. You learn every official has a threshold. Some want money. Some want favors. Some want status. You treat bribes as operating expenses. You buy a penthouse in Monaco, a watch worth more than your father's house, multiple passports, a go bag with diamonds and emergency cash. Your network becomes global, pilots, intermediaries, fixers. You manage it like a corporation, and you start believing you're untouchable. That belief is the beginning of the end. One shipment triggers attention, not publicly, privately. You're invited to a meeting in Vienna, inside an embassy. The man across from you speaks calmly. He lists your routes, your clients, your shell companies. You expect threats. Instead, you receive an offer. Governments need intermediaries. They can't openly supply certain groups. They need someone deniable. They need someone experienced. They need someone like you. Now you're not just smuggling. You're facilitating policy. Money flows through cleaner channels. You tell yourself this makes it legitimate, but it doesn't. It makes you dependent. You are now part of a system bigger than you, and systems don't protect liabilities. You wake at night, check the locks, check the car, switch phones frequently, never sit with your back to the door. You don't know who would move first. Arrival, foreign intelligence, or the same government that once protected you. You drink more, sleep less, faces appear in your dreams, children, soldiers, villages. You tell yourself, If they wanted violence, they would find it anyway. You only made it efficient, but efficiency amplifies consequences, and you know that. You sell to the wrong side of a shifting political landscape. Peace talks begin. Suddenly, your usefulness disappears. You become a liability because you connect dots. You know who funded what, who signed what, who approved what. You are evidence, and evidence is dangerous. You're at an airport in Southeast Asia, routine travel. Suddenly, chaos. Tactical teams flood the terminal. You're forced to the ground. It isn't cinematic, it's efficient. The headlines call you a merchant of death. They say you fueled wars. They don't mention that governments were your largest clients. You become a symbol, a public sacrifice, a warning. Your world shrinks to concrete walls. No aircraft, no negotiation, no control. Just silence. The adrenaline fades. The paranoia softens. The nightmares linger. You think back to your first job, the port city, the spreadsheets, the rice shipments. You weren't evil, you were useful, and usefulness in the wrong places becomes exploitation.